Okay, I think what we're going to do, I've had a good look at this, and I need to remove the servo. Now I can either remove the motor and then remove the servo, but I want to leave the motor there. At least I want to try to leave the motor there. So I'm going to undo these 4 screws here. There are 2 underneath, and then remove the servo from the side. So we'll give that a try. I may actually try just undoing those 2 underneath first, see what happens. Yeah, and that's the first one out, and that one there is the second one out. And that then isn't loose, I don't think. That's got to come out, that one there. That one there. And now does it remove? No, it doesn't. So this one's got to come out as well. That one. And there we are. That is holding the servo in. Very well constructed. Very well constructed. And that is the servo that we've got to remove. I'm just going to leave those bushings connected in there. I'm just going to remove the servo horn. The screw. Servo horn comes off, and then the servo is just mounted on a piece of plastic, and I'll remove that. So that end. Like I said, every job I look at here I think is easy, and then I look at actually the detail of it, and it just becomes more and more complex. And that is purely because technology has moved on in the meantime, and although some of this stuff is perfectly usable, that is a perfectly usable servo, it's no good for this system, whereas this one is. This one, and these servos are really cheap. This is around about £2 for a servo like this. It's remarkably cheap. Okay, and that goes in like that, I believe, into there. Make sure it fits. No, it doesn't, because this only needs 1 screw per. Right. And the servo itself is physically the same size. Just it's slightly better. Now this is another example of the things we were talking about every time you look at a job it just gets more complex. This is the old servo, and that's the old drive shaft coming out of the servo, and that's the new one, and the new one is slightly larger than the old one, so the old servo horn, which fits quite comfortably on the old servo, won't fit on the new one. So I'm going to have to use the servo horn that came with the servo and modify that. Okay, we've got the new servo in, as you can see there. Possibly if I put some light onto the scene. Right, okay. That's the new servo in there. It's been a little bit of a fiddle, but I'm just installing the last of the screws now. That one goes into there. Okay, so that basically is the new servo installed for the steering. May well need adjustment later, but we take it off and adjust it again quite simply. Now the next thing I've got to think about is where do I install the radio gear, and the initial thought was to put the receiver quite close there, like so, on top of that with some sticky tape, and I think it will go there quite nicely. It will go there quite nicely.